Yenim say on the 11th of December, year 2025, and Abutrica, to do na dia Crawford friend Freddie Kumi. FBI, Yoko, ne enyumaku ahudro a ekeka ho a omukọ ne fie say omu ehia no omakache. Ene say ode nyansa anaso ode na adwene ana ode internet no afa so abokro no bi ana nya sika bi a enukwan say onya. Sasimi beto ho ache omukọ court kona bra ho update. Enne de abeto dwane say court ama ho kwan say ombetimi de Abutrica afri oman Ghana edna ko US akwakotoa na asem no edie no so ewo ho na mom enhyehyeye ewo ho enhyehyeye ewo ho ne say wama Abutrica lawyers no 15 days say ombetimi the case no ruling na eba enso monte ase a ombetimi de akọ high court first na district court sesi ade move from district court to high court until the next 15 days in there ombetimi challenge ruling no till 15 days in ntwamu dia yemfa Abutrica free Ghana enko US but until say 15 days in betwam no e dey say no ye hwese lawyers no e be ko appeal court e wo high court omni case no e be free district court e dey ko high court na fi high court no mo ko na o masem no mekan e be to asum say high court be ka say okay asem ne ma yemfa na nko asem ne de ne be ko nti ejina ho e ma nema bebre nti on the 15 days na court no e dey ma omo ne de sese de obewo Ghana obewo police for akache se de bia no owo eho no sese wotie ne councilor no ne nsema ode etu edwana o se ode to obra mo ko share court no omne to judge nanim se amanyosem bi ewo omo case na Abutrica you know mo de to no so no court no mo de bono amanyosem bi ewo ma like entwa ye na court se omo antimi improve sa amanyosem na ewo mu nti no asem na omo kan court dey ebogu ene nema eka ho bebre yenko ne nkotie councilor no for Abutrica ne nsem odi to dwa ena ne lawyer no so nsem a omo de to edwa
we dey heading kakra now so this is say na court etie only applications beko you argue the application obeka say me ni manufacturer ni say obisi beka say need any say and then judge no so ben way na waka say okay based on the law say and I say until abu case ya ba you can say offenses are per se yen use for extradition any part of list of offenses are will be a friend treaty and a treaty usually a friend is agreement between countries on mine me no man say be akwa agreement say okay say obi ye boni to say ni say so obi tutu so obi ko obi a na say oye no wo ebia US and Germany na say bibi eno odwane ba Ghana for monche no na monfa no man nzansa na obesa na say any number district court na hwe say nia omo pa kire no eno na waye ana ena say waye san so a ewo sa extradition list no so ana ena ye ka say there bi sa offenses no and miss extradition list now and what say court ikra enti asem na so court nika say there bi 2 days ago e kan ena obeti asem ye before for so by and say okay fine ebi mu kikan we na ye setting no up in a way this are set up it is not right in law and until sa nipa no you can say at least court my to me ana use power na o manipa no on be yina no we court say okay say ni say and say it on be my evidence and at two you can say you pay expert witness obetimi at court ni say even abu offense no there is some form of political connection to it and until any offense I was say extradition and bem now so court look say baby on what determine double criminality bibia and we have not proven to her say there is a political connection to the offense and until me upper training say as for abono there afi finally or say on my yen no now so by law yent me for no kosa there were 15 days within 15 days I was say yen call high court with an application for habeas corpus say high court ma Ghana for no or mine or monfa no bra wenim e high court I determined say I was saying engine one say so another leg of the litigation goes on again but within a certain 15-day window Now, so near console, we can see what we can do because we believe that it is an error on the face of the record and that it's something that we can go to the higher courts and challenge it. So either if it's through the process of an appeal or any other process that we can do within the rights of the law, we will do that hopefully.
So right now we're in court and we have filed various preliminary legal objections on the extradition of Frederick Kumi, but the court has always dismissed it. It's actually a process. If you go into the Extradition Act, you know that extradition processes are a bit very fast, but here we've been able to stall it and make it a bit slower to ensure his release, but still the court is still dismissing all its applications. Today in court, we had filed a preliminary legal objection and we had filed an application to actually disclose items in which they seized, stating that the items do not really belong to Frederick Kumi and actually is not associated with the extradition offense, but the court actually ruled against. And then the court adjourned the case to 15 days in which we have to file a habeas corpus. So hopefully, we're believing that when we file the habeas corpus, we'll be able to state our case properly and tell the court why Frederick cannot be extradited. Right now, our hopes are up. Not entirely up, but we're hoping.
This is what omo ensem na de omo edi atudwani say 15 days no answer 15 days in betwam no de entwam no de omo ntimi emfa ni mfiri Ghana enko US until say 15 days no atwam enti say no ye hwese eye no lawyers no be pushi asam no edi afiri edi akọ high court sisi enti na ye atwen say within 15 days no ye be hwese ombetu ho anamo enti na be kire say yɛde ne bɛkɔ anan fa no nkɔ by empremprem si am no kasa yi de ɛyɛ district court no de wɔma approval sɛ ɔmbetim de Abutrica afri Ghana ɛde na kɔ US until say 15 days no be challenge ruling ɔmo challenge there then within 15 days no ɛyɛ sɛ Abutrica afri ɔman Ghana mu ɛkɔ ɛyɛ US we breaking news a abɛka 24/7 yɛnsa saa asɛm yɛbɛdi akyire until 15 days ɛbɛyɛhwem sɛ 15 days no ɔmbɛkɔ appeal anaasɛ ɔmo ɛnkɔ no update bi a bɛba Abutrica ensem yede bebrem subscribe like share comment ma ona wonya bi hwenso obetimi enya bi ahwe 24/7 so update Bretonana Safo Edukantanka makram